Well, this is a story about old Jack and old John, two board members at the First Unity Church, and they were always at odds with each other, especially in board meetings. One would say yay, and the other one would say nay, and they just would confront each other all the time. So one day, old Jack dies and arrives at the pearly gates. And he notices how St. Peter asked everyone a question before they can get in. And when it was his turn, St. Peter said, "Hi, Jack. I'd like to see if you qualify to get into heaven. I need to ask you to spell Jesus for me." And Jack goes, "Wow, that's easy. J-E-S-U-S. And Peter said, "Great, you're in, but could you do me a small favor, and would you mind taking over the gate for a little while? Well, I need to check on something. I'll be right back." So Jack didn't mind, and as people came in, he asked them to spell Jesus, and he let them into the kingdom of heaven. And then along comes old John. And old John says, "Jack, what are you doing here?" And Jack says, "Well, I'm just filling in for St. Peter and asking a word before people can get into heaven." And old John says, "Oh, what is the word?" Old Jack thinks for a second. "Albuquerque." So Ho'opono, I don't think he practiced forgiveness. I kind of wondered, if St. Peter wasn't sending him up to see if he really deserved to get into heaven, right? So Ho'oponopono is an ancient Hawaiian practice for forgiveness, reconciliation, emotional healing, and for opening our hearts to the connection with our true selves. The Ho'oponopono practice reminds us that all life is connected. When we heal ourselves, we contribute to the healing of the planet and all life on the planet. The Hawaiian word Ho'oponopono comes from ho'o, which means to make, and pono, which means to make right, or which means right. So the repetition of the word pono means doubly right, or being right. I like to think of it with ourselves and others. In a nutshell, Ho'oponopono is a process which we can forgive ourselves and other people with which we are connected. 2 weeks ago, in my talk titled "Finding Beauty in Our Warts," anybody find beauty in their warts? Maybe you had a different attitude towards your warts when you went home. Anyway, that's a topic for another subject. And the talk was really basically about, can we love ourselves in spite of the difficulties, the challenges, the insufficiencies that we sometimes see in ourselves. And the idea is that when we really come from our hearts, we can get rid of the blockages that keep us from being able to experience love, accept love, and be present to love, both within ourselves and with others. There are 4 phrases that are common in Ho'oponopono. And the first one that we talked about this particular first week, 2 weeks ago, was, "I love and accept you." And we talked about the value of really being present to each other, really seeing each other and loving each other. And then, of course, we experienced it with ourselves too, to really love ourselves and be present to who we are. Last week, my talk was titled, "I'm sorry you have been hurt." Saying, "I'm sorry" isn't about being right or wrong. Instead, it's about exercising humility, humanity, understanding, compassion and oneness. I like to think that saying I'm sorry, when we say I'm sorry, in this Ho'oponopono way, we're saying, I'm sorry for being a part of a difficult situation. It's recognizing that we as human beings face difficulties. Ever notice? Nobody? Part of this, you got to tell the truth, But we do face challenges, and we're recognizing that we all face challenges, and we're all part of this humanity. We're all expressions of God having a human experience, and we're recognizing that, I'm sorry for whatever part I played in whatever difficulties you're having. Because we know that it's our common consciousness that creates the situations that we're in this world. And the affirmation we came up last week was, I'm sorry you have been hurt. And we're recognizing that all of us feel that hurt from time to time. And then, so today, the theme is forgiveness. And the talk is titled, Please Forgive Me. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful practices that we can embrace. And to really open our hearts, we need to be able to forgive ourselves and forgive others. If we can't get into that heart space, then we might often be accusing others of not forgiving ourselves and not forgiving others, and holding some resentment and some pain and some anger towards ourselves or others. Forgiveness is the opportunity to let go of emotions that aren't working, like anger, resentment, sadness, grief, and these things that persist in our lives. So in the talk today, we're going to look at how we can use this amazing power of forgiveness to open our hearts and connect with the truth of who we are, so we can be present to ourselves. And in the same way, to forgive others so that we can be present for others. And the phrase we're using today is, please forgive me for forgetting the essence of who you are. I behold the Christ in you. This is an interesting time when you say in history and on this planet and in this country, in these divisive times, some folks want to distance themselves to avoid catching COVID from the unvaccinated. And others want to distance themselves from the people who are vaccinated for fear that they are shedding the vaccination. And this week, a neighbor of ours sent us a text. And she said, I want you to stay away from me. I want you to not come close to me. And so Emily and I were kind of shocked when we got this text and thought, how can this be? This is, we certainly disagree with her reasoning. And, we felt angry, we felt disappointed, we felt sad. And we felt judgmental, and we felt right. Have you noticed those kinds of feelings circulating? How people stand in their place, and it's like, I am right, I'm the smart one, right? I either listen to science or I don't listen to science, and I'm right, they're right. And it's so interesting that we live in a world, I think because there's so much, we listen to too much news that has created this separation in us. But anyway, that's not the point. That's a talk for another day. So we talked about sending this person a really sarcastic, I got a picture over there, a really sarcastic and cutting text back. and to state our point and tell her how wrong she was. Then it was like, oh darn, what are we talking about? We're talking about Ho'oponopono. And then we thought, well, this would be a perfect time to create a Ho'oponopono exercise to share with her, with ourselves. And so what we came up with is, we love and accept you. We are sorry that you've been hurt by us or others. Please forgive us for forgetting the essence of who you are. And thank you for helping us to be more loving. After saying these phrases a few times, we simply sent her a text and said, okay. Wow, and that was like, it felt so much better not to have to, stand in our judgment, but just say, okay. We can see the Christ in you. We can love you enough. We respect your thoughts and your feelings. Okay. We love you and we accept you. We're sorry that you've been hurt by us or others. Please forgive us for forgetting the essence of who you are. We behold the Christ in you. So often we see others through our judgments and our opinions, rather than seeing them as spiritual beings on their own spiritual journey. Having a human experience, certainly. When we can remember the essence of who people are, and we can behold them in the light of spirit, we're stepping out of our judgments. We're stepping out of our own fear. We're stepping into the light of truth. And we're beholding them as one of us rather than being separate. We are beholding the Christ in them. When we say, please forgive me for forgetting the essence of who you are, we're releasing anger, releasing fear, releasing judgment, releasing the need to be right. And isn't that so much about what is causing the difficulties that we're experiencing? I know we all have friends, don't we, that are on both sides of this, of these opinions. And we can just let it all go in love. To behold the Christ in someone means to pray lovingly, to be in this consciousness of truth, and to call forth our highest self as we see the higher self in others. It's to call forth the Christ wisdom, the Christ power, the Christ love, the Christ strength, the Christ judgment. And of course, when we're talking about Christ, we're not talking about Jesus Christ. We're talking about the Christ presence, which is the spiritual essence in all of us. Some people call it the Buddha presence, or the presence of love, or the creation, the energy of creation. So thank you for helping us become more loving. Wow, we can, if we can look at it properly, we can see the challenges in our lives as opportunities to come back as center, can't we? And behold them in the truth, and behold ourselves in the truth. And this is, we'll talk about this more in 2 weeks. Next Sunday we're going to celebrate Father's Day, and the Sunday after that we'll talk more about the fourth principle, which is thank you. When we forgive others, and the theme today is about forgiveness, the truth of it is we're not forgiving them for them. When we forgive for ourselves. Because oftentimes when we're holding a grudge against somebody, they don't have any idea. Any unforgiveness that we do only binds who? Us. It locks us down. I like to think that unforgiveness is like, it's like locking somebody up in a cell with a broken lock. So you have to stand there and hold the doorknob so they can't get out. Right? And so essentially, we think they're in prison, but we certainly are because we're stuck in that position. So forgiveness doesn't depend on the other person accepting our forgiveness. You don't need to do anything to be forgiven by them. The forgiveness healing is happening inside of us, inside of you. I believe that forgiveness will affect the other person because they'll get it on a higher dimension, on a spiritual level. Please forgive me for forgetting the essence of who you are. I behold the Christ in you. Buddy Hackett said very profoundly, you remember Buddy Hackett? I think he was on Hollywood Squares I always loved that guy. He said, I've had a few arguments with people, but I never carry a grudge. You know why? While you're carrying a grudge, they're out dancing.
Yeah, right.
The Ho'oponopono process is essential if we want to be Pono. If we want to be right and congruent with ourselves, if we want to be Pono. And the philosophy behind this practice is that we are each responsible for what shows up in our reality. We own our feelings and our experiences. So even if someone else has wronged us, we're the ones that are saying, I'm sorry, forgive me. The foundation of this practice is unity. An unbreakable bond that connects us to every other person on this planet, even though we seem to be separate. When errors are corrected externally, they are corrected internally. When errors are corrected internally, they are corrected externally. So when we forgive within ourselves, that same energy goes out into the world. And others are healed by that same energy because it changes our consciousness and our way of being present in the world. When we cleanse our consciousness, we contribute to the cleansing of the collective consciousness. When we forgive others, we too are forgiven because as within, so without. It's kind of fun. I've had the opportunity to use this practice twice this week. And I invite you into it yourself to practice it. And I'll put a cheat sheet together and post it in our newsletter on Wednesday if you're wanting to remember the steps in it. But let's go through the steps in our meditation today. And I invite you to close your eyes. And take a deep breath. Breathing in and breathing out. Connecting with the essence of all life. Giving thanks for the power of forgiveness. And as you bring your awareness to your breath, relax into it. Breathing in, breathing out. knowing that you are connected with the deepest essence of who you are. Letting your awareness drop down into your heart. So in our meditation today, we'll work first on ourselves. I forgive myself for forgetting the essence of who I am. I behold the Christ in myself. Breathing in and hear this again for you. I forgive myself for forgetting to see my essence. I behold the Christ in myself. And I invite you to say it lightly or think it as I say it again. I forgive myself for forgetting to see my essence, and I behold the Christ in me. And now imagine that sitting or standing in front of you is someone that you love. A friend, a relative, a partner. And imagine that you are saying this phrase, this statement to your partner. Please forgive me for forgetting the essence of who you are. I behold the Christ in you. Breathing in and breathing out. Please forgive me for forgetting the essence of who you are. I behold the Christ in you.
Please forgive me. I forgive you. Please forgive me. I forgive you. I forgive myself. And I forgive you too. Please forgive me. And I forgive you.
And now imagine that in front of you is someone you find challenging. This could be a partner, a friend, a relative, someone you just know of. And imagine as you drop down into your heart that you were able to say to this person, please forgive me for forgetting the essence of who you are. I behold the Christ in you.
Please forgive me, and I forgive you. Please forgive me, and I forgive you too.
And now imagine that you're able to behold this planet and all life on this planet. That you're holding the idea of all people, all women, all men, all children, all life, all animals of the sky and the sea and the earth. And you say to them, please forgive me for forgetting the essence of who you are. I behold the Christ in you. Breathing in and breathing out. Feeling the love that is emanating from you out into the world. And in the same way, you receive this love in every cell, every space, every thought, every feeling. Thank you, loving Spirit. And I invite you to begin to bring your awareness back to this moment, to join together with your Unity family to celebrate this day. Thank you, loving God. So I invite you now to prepare your love offerings. And there's an envelope in or around your chair. You can place it in there if you'd like. And in a moment or two, one of our ushers or board member will come around and collect them. And thank you for your gifts. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for being a part of Unity Church of Maui. I love you and appreciate all that you are. And I love the fact that we have this connection in spirit. And I know that you in your consciousness are creating a power of love and bringing a power of love and transformation to this planet. So thank you for being a part of that. Thank you for giving to Unity Church of Maui that helps sustain us in a financial way and allows us to continue doing what we're doing. So as you hold your gifts, let's pray and affirm our affirmation for prosperity, which begins, through a grateful, giving heart, my mind and life overflow with the abundance of God's all-providing, infinite supply. And so it is. Loving Spirit, we give thanks for these gifts that have come to us in love. We hold them, we bless them, and we release them to move through Unity Church of Maui. And we behold a world that's filled with love, with joy, with light, and with peace. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so, we just lost Kailani. Kailani, come back. Haha. Come up here, my dear. You know I was going to make you do this. Ooh. Well, grab mine too, Carol. Would you grab that lady there?
Thank you.
Thank you. Look, Kailani just graduated from college.
Thank you.
Yes, you do.
Thank you.
Oh, love you.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
And she graduated from college, and she brought the flowers today, which is right behind her.
Thank you so much.
So why don't we?
Graduated with honors.
She graduated with honors. Yes, that's the symbolism of this, right?
Yes.
This has got to be the most amazing woman that I know. Is that true?
You bless me.
So let's say our little blessing to you. Do you all remember? We haven't said it in over a year, I think. But it goes something like this. Kailani, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you. God bless you. And I just heard that it's Kate's birthday today. Is that right? Why don't we sing a rousing version of Happy Birthday to Kate? Kate, stand up. And let's sing to our dear friend Kate.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kate. Happy birthday to you. Hope you have about 1 million or 2 million more.
Thank you. All right. Oh, and there is you saw how much fun Kailani had bringing the flowers, and you can do the same thing. We may not always congratulate you or sing to you or chant to you. You just never know, but we might. And there's a sign-up sheet out by the door if you'd like to bring flowers in the future. And if you're watching us on Facebook Live, you can call us up and let us know you'd like to bring flowers. Call Emily, as a matter of fact, at 808-268-8310. She is our list lady amongst all the other million things that she does. Oh, and by the way, yes, there is a sign-up sheet also for next Sunday. So if you're here today, you can sign up to assure yourself a reservation for next Sunday. And if you're watching us online, you can call Emily, 808-268-8310. Someday I'll have it so I can put that number on the screen, you know, and kind of feel like I'm on a public radio station or something. As I said earlier, next Sunday is Father's Day. And so the title of my talk is Our Father Who Art in Heaven. And so we're going to have some fun looking at the Lord's Prayer and seeing it as a transformative practice that we can use to bring us to enlightenment. There is a message hidden in the Lord's Prayer that you may not have heard before. The metaphysics of it, the spiritual essence of it. And so next week we'll talk about that, and I think you'll find it a lot of fun, and it will it did for me, turn the page on what this expression, Our Father who art in heaven, means, and some other things. It's a great fun to see you next week. And we'll be doing the same thing, 10 o'clock, safe distancing and masks. And you can call Emily to make reservations. Did I say that already? Oh. You just can't say it enough times, can you? So as you know, we are working on a goal of $10,000 for a shuttle, because we picture very soon we'll be back in this building in full force. And we hope to need a shuttle van to shuttle us back and forth between here and the county building, so that we can keep our on-site parking for people who need it and for guests to come. And let's see, you can find more services just like this on our Unity Church of Maui YouTube page. We are broadcasting, of course, on Facebook at 10 o'clock on Sunday. And thank you again for being here. I think that's all that we have for today. Yes, there's what our YouTube page kind of looks like. All right then. Well, let's take a breath and breathe in, and thank you all for being here this morning. Let's pray and affirm together the prayer for protection, which begins, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us wherever we are. God is. God bless you. Thank you for being here. Have a great week. Aloha.
Where I live, they're all rain.